Catch you on the rebound. We got Beverly Coleman in the building from Neo Curly. I'm going to give her a round of applause. Appreciate you coming out here.
Of course,
How you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Neo Curly, you got your degree in psychology.
I do. I got my Master's of Science in Applied Psychology, emphasis in the teachings of psychology.
Master's. Wow.
Yes.
Applaud. That's what's up. Tell us about Neo Curly.
So, in a nutshell, Neo Curly is an all-natural hair care brand. Products themselves are all natural as well, and they're meant for black hair. So, type 2, type 3, type 4 curl patterns, textures, porosities, elasticity, all that good stuff that come with hair. We are in the process of just making a natural hair care line that is for all black hair, period.
That's what's up. Straight up. Tell us, like, what made you want to do that? Kind of, like, walk us through that.
So, I started doing the whole, like, YouTube influencer thing back in summer of 2018. That's when I got consistent with it anyways. Okay. And so, you know, then I went viral or whatever, blew up. Now I'm, like, this natural hair care influencer, whatever, video maker. So then, of course, brands started reaching out to me, and I'm working with all these natural brands for, you know, black hair. Yeah. And just, you know, being on the Instagrams and the websites and stuff like that, I noticed that there was a lack of diversity in the black women that were shown. Okay. So clearly I am of the lighter skin spectrum of being black. So, Definitely. You know, I just noticed a lot of the women on there were lighter skin with type 3 hair. And so, you know, like I say, you got type 2, which is wavy hair. You have type 3, which is actual, like, curls. Okay. Kind of like
natural curls. Yeah, like good hair,
like
mixed breed.
What people would consider good hair.
Got it.
That's what type 3 hair is. Okay. And then that's like the actual spiraling of the curls. And then you have type 4, which is like the kinkier, the coils.
Is that like naps?
That's what people would consider nappy hair.
Got it.
So
straight up.
I just saw a lot of ambiguous looking black women, lighter skin, type 3 hair everywhere. And like, it's crazy because me just being lighter skin, I have type 3, type like 4A-ish hair. I was tired of seeing it. Yeah. And like most of my friends are darker skin with 4C, 4B hair, which means they have kinkier hair than mine. And my mom has type 4 hair as well, 4C hair. So, you know, just being with them, and, you know, they complain about when it comes to finding a product, they just like, you know, I don't really think this is going to work for me because they don't see anybody that look like, and the product could be like the bomb on their hair. They'll never know because there's no representation. So, you know, just hearing them complain and like just growing up, period. Most of my friends were darker skin with type 4 hair. Okay. Just like, you know, being around them and just knowing like what they say their struggle is, and you know, being a friend or family member, that take a toll on me too. That make me angry as well. You gotta hear it. Yeah. Well, it's not even. It's just like I feel bad for them because you know, here I am, this light skinned girl, whatever. Yeah. I see light skinned girls everywhere, but they don't see anybody look like. It's not fair. You know, it's like it's just not. So just kind of like hearing that, and then you know, then eventually I just got tired of working for other hair care brands. You know, just I don't know, like, you know. It just got started getting difficult. I was tired of it. And so I was just like, you know, why not make my own, like, so I can do it my way and making sure people feel loved and accepted and welcomed. So then it kind of just like later to 2018, we just started working on it and just went from there. And then November 22nd of 2019, that's when we launched.
Now we're here. That's what's up. So are both of your parents black, or are you mixed? Or?
Both of my parents are black. My mom, they're both like lighter skin, but my dad has kind of like a looser waved, like really silky hair. Then my mom, like good hair. And then my mom has like straight up 4C hair. So I kind of just kind of like came in the middle of both of their hair types, basically.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. So what made you want to get your master's in psychology? Like, that's typically not what people go to school for, you know?
That's very true.
Yeah.
So the reason why I even went in for psychology is originally I wanted to be a counselor. When I was in I was in high school, I joined this thing called peer mediation. We're basically like peer counselors for kids who are in ISS, elementary kids, stuff like that. Yeah. So from there, that's when I realized, okay, like counseling, because originally I wanted to be like a dermatologist. I don't know where that came from. Yeah. No. Once I realized how much school and all that.
Neo curly skin?
No, I was like, dermatology is not my thing once I got into that program. So that's when I switched to psychology, and I set to be a counselor. So I wanted to be like a family marriage counselor, or those that worked with like patients that deal with like trauma, stuff like that. That's what my specialty was going to be.
Got it.
So, went through undergrad or whatever, and then I went to grad school. And after my first semester of counseling program, that's when I realized I don't think counseling is my thing. I think teaching people about psychology is more of me. So then I switched my emphasis to more of like on the research teaching side. And I just like I said, I really went towards the teaching route because just like mental health in the Black community ain't really talked about that much. You just your own personal experience with your family. Yeah. And just, just in general, they think like, we just talk like counseling is for, crazy people, for white people, so it's just kind of like when you go to counseling, they look at you like you crazy or, stuff like that, especially because my first time ever going to counseling was my first semester of grad school.
So you have been to counseling?
I have been to counseling.
That's what's up.
So, and it helped a lot. And I was like, people need to know about this. Like when you find at least the right counselor for you,
I think that's what it is. Like, you got to find somebody that kind of like fits you.
Yeah, so I had a younger counselor. She was kind of like in her mid-30s. She was a woman. So I felt like I could relate to her more. Maybe if I went talk to a man who was older, I feel like you're not really getting at me, you know? So when you find a good counselor, then that really helps out a lot. So me, with my own personal experience with counseling, I'm out here like, counseling is the best thing ever. Yeah. Everybody needs to go because it really helped me. Like, found out I was dealing with depression, but I didn't know what the source of the depression was. Going to counseling helped me figure that out. Then I worked on that source, and then I got better.
Gotcha.
So, but like I said, I didn't think counseling was for me. I think more of like standing in front of people and teaching them. So I felt like I was good at taking these really complicated theories and like subjects and kind of like simplifying them so the everyday person can understand. Because most people,
that's kind of hard. Yeah. Like when people don't really understand it, they don't want to read into it. Yeah.
Exactly. Like when I read these psych articles, I was like, well, not the everyday person is gonna read this. No. So I found that I could take, like I said, I'll read that, but I can basically summarize it and say it in a way to where somebody can understand. They're like, oh, I get it. So a lot of time people don't know because when they're reading it, they just don't get it because it sounds so complicated. So I felt like talking to people was more of my skill, just kind of like being more relatable towards people. So that's why I switched to research. So that way I can just find my own outlet of teaching, just teaching people in general, but specifically Black people about mental health.
That's true. Because it's not a lot of us. Like Charlamagne the Guy was like one of the few that kind of like made me like realize it. And when my daddy died, I started speaking to therapists. Like I didn't really want to do it. I was like, man, like I just couldn't help myself. Like I was really hurting, you know what I'm saying? And I had to talk to somebody, and I probably ended up speaking to like 4 different therapists over like 4 years. And I was like, man, like this like really helped. Now I do just like small groups. I get together with like small groups of people. I'm in like multiple groups, and we always talk about our stuff, whether it's like once a month, like once a week. I just need it. Like I know I need it. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of like helped me through my problems. You know what I'm saying?
That's good that you realize that, because a lot of black males, it's really hard getting them to like just even express themselves. Period. Like any type of emotion besides like anger or anything, any type of like sadness or you know something's upsetting you. It's time to keep it in. So it's kind of harder getting Black males to understand like mental health and counseling and stuff like that, because when you suggest it, they kind of become defensive, like counseling, whatever, ain't nothing wrong with me, whatever. So it's just kind of like, Black people in general, but definitely Black males, it's a little bit harder. So that's why I tweet random mental health facts and. You just post things on your story and like here and there, because people be like, I didn't even realize that, and it was like, well, I'm here to tell you.
It's like I needed that. I'm glad you said that. I needed that.
I have people that tell me all the time, like especially because anxiety and depression are very common. So when I talk about these things, people are like, I didn't even, like realize this, or I tried this meditation thing that you were talking about that helped out a lot. So
you meditate?
I meditate every day.
Okay. In the morning?
In the morning.
Like a routine?
Every morning.
All right, so a lot of people know, like, they probably heard the word meditation, but they don't necessarily know what it is, or like why they probably think they wasting their time doing meditation. Because I've meditated and I felt like it wasn't doing nothing, and then I stopped, and now I really don't do it as much. But like, maybe like you could help me, or like influence some other people to like do meditation. So like, walk us through your routine. So
meditation originally comes from Buddhism, like mindfulness. So that's the root of what meditation is. So mindfulness is basically learning to be in the present, like awareness of the present moment. So not worrying about the past, not worried about the future, but just being here in the now. Okay. So that's what the root of meditation is. So basically, when you meditate, you're focusing on you're clearing your mind, and you're focusing on
not what's tomorrow, not what happened yesterday.
It's basically just kind of like a healthier way to kind of work through your thoughts and your emotions without just like them being everywhere. Kind of like organize it, bring it to one space, sit there, allow yourself to think about it, feel what you feel, and then you go on. Okay. So like, you can meditate as long as you want. Like me, I do it for about 10 to 15 minutes just because I like, you got a busy schedule and you got to move around, but I do make sure I get it in. Yeah. But like for people, most people don't know how to meditate. You think you just sit there and you be quiet. That's not like,
that ain't gonna do nothing.
That's not, you just go sit there, you just go be like, okay, like what am I doing? you know? So like, learning how to meditate is difficult at first because you are sitting there and you're being still and you're being relaxed, and most time you're just moving around and things like that. So something that helped me when I first started was downloading Headspace, which is an app.
I had Headspace.
Yeah. So you like Headspace.
They walk you through it.
Yeah, exactly. So just like, even if you go through that like beginner, I think it's like 10 sessions or something like that. Yeah. You do that, like go through that whole sessions like 2 or 3 times, you'll eventually pick it up. Yeah. Because that's what it took me like a good solid 2 months to not have to use the app, to where like I kind of go through the steps myself without even like, okay, now you do this. Now you think about this. It's kind of like natural. Yeah. So Headspace is where I kind of learned how to meditate, and then just like my own research, because that's that's what my emphasis is research. That's so I like to read up on things. So just doing my own reading, watch YouTube. Everything's on YouTube. So you can watch videos on YouTube, just like tips and stuff. So just kind of like finding outside sources. But Headspace is really, really good. And even Headspace has just other stuff on there besides meditation that will help you like with calming down. So yeah, so it's just kind of like, it takes time. Like it really does. But like once you get the hang of it and you get in a routine, but you can meditate any time of the day. I just choose to do it in the morning because it helps me feel like calm before the day gets started, so I won't feel like just hectic,
just frantic. Who are some of your influences?
For what?
Just in general, just in life.
Oh, in general, I love Michelle Obama. That's my
that's we all should.
Yeah, like I love Michelle Obama. I feel like she's just a really powerful woman, just in her own right. Like she doesn't like live in the shadow of her husband. She do her own thing. So it's just like, he doing his thing over there, but like I feel like people be more excited about Michelle than they actually do about
They really do, yeah.
So it's just kind of like, I'm just like, yes, like I have her book as well. So it's just kind of like, somebody gave it to me as a present.
What's it called?
Becoming.
Yeah, I had the audio book. It's too long.
It is a big book. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, but I like to read. So, but Michelle Obama definitely. I'm trying to think because I really do be just stuck on her.
Erykah Badu,
like as in I wouldn't necessarily say. I say like her music and her vibes, but I don't know necessarily like an influence.
She into all of the stuff that you talking about.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You from Dallas, right?
Yeah, I'm from Dallas.
She from Dallas.
I know she is. Oh. I just didn't know.
Yeah, she from Dallas. So you read a lot.
I do read a lot. I love to read.
Just like information, like stories, like fiction, nonfiction.
Most of my stuff is like facts that I read. Like I don't really do with the storytelling and stuff, just because I like to constantly learn about things. Like like in school, I was really big like scholar, like real nerdy type person. So I just try to make sure I always keep myself educated. There's a lot of information in books, and people don't know that. So you can get on Google all day, but there's a lot of people who just don't know things, or they're kind of ignorant because they don't read. So most of my books are like some type of like Black history. It's like a biography about someone important that's Black, or psychology. I got a bunch of psychology books. So
give us one.
One that I'm reading right now is about positive psychology, and it's just learning just like about like self-love and happiness and things like that, and just kind of taking these theories and applying them. Exercises are in there. So a lot of the books that I read are kind of like those self-help books. Yeah. But it's about like psychology basically. So I read up on them just because, even though I got my master's degree, I don't know every theory that's out there. So it's just kind of like, oh, I don't know what this is. I'm finna read about it.
Figure it out. Yeah. So you got a curious mind. Yeah. So did that form like from childhood, or you just kind of like discovered that?
Like I said, I've always been like a scholar, like ever since elementary. You know, I'm just that nerdy person that just I learn quick. I pick up on things fast when it comes to like an educational setting. So I kind of always been that way.
That's dope. I like that. Well, like I say, like I told Gary when Gary was on here, like you got the floor too. Like I've been asking you a lot of questions, but like feel free, like at any time, like if you just want to ask me questions, so it's not just like all on you. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I kind of wanted to like give you the floor to like speak about whatever. Well, tell us about like your postgraduate depression. Like,
okay, I definitely talk about that. So a lot of people, when they graduate, they don't even realize they depressed. You know, like they just
because we think we made it.
Yeah, you like, oh, I graduated. You know, I got this degree, and then it's like a big.
You gotta get a job.
Yeah, it's just like a big pause in your life, and a lot of people don't realize that it's actual depression. They just like you know, they just sad and they just going through, but it's real life depression. So for me, after I graduated, I decided not to immediately go into the psych field to work on my entrepreneurship and like neo-curling and then YouTubing and things like that. So I decided like I wanted to make sure I put my focus on it. I still wanted to educate with psychology, but kind of like through content creation, you know, instead of like actually going through the field. So, you know, just kind of dealing with that. And then just like adjustment issues. You just graduated. You've been in school since you was 5 years old in kindergarten, and now you out here in the real world, and you just like, I don't really know what to do with myself at the moment. So it's just like those changes, you know, adulting here, you got bills, like you might have had bills in college, but you got bills now. You got like actual stuff you got to pay for now. You don't realize how expensive stuff is until after you graduate and getting that refund check no more, you know. So it's just like you got to realize that refund definitely used to help. So so like it's just like dealing with that type. It's just like adjustment. So it's just kind of like I just had a hard time adjusting because I had been in school was my talent. I feel like I've always been really good at school, making A's, you know, like that's just the type of person I've been. So once I graduate, I'm like, what do I do with myself? Because I'm not in school no more. You know, like that takes up most of your school is a job. Yeah, it is. So it's kind of almost like, all right, you know, you ain't got a job anymore, basically, once you graduate. So it's just kind of like dealing with that. My biggest thing of like just dealing with the depression was the isolation. Did you isolate yourself? I'm extremely extroverted. Social. I can talk to any and everybody. Like I said, I feel like my biggest skill is being relatable and talking to people. Yeah, that is a skill. Yeah, a skill that took me a minute to realize that's what I had, because I used to not even like really talking that much because I didn't like my voice growing up. So people always told me,
y'all gotta find our voice.
So I isolated myself a lot. I just kind of like would sit there for hours and literally not do anything. In your own thoughts. Yeah, in your own thoughts. You just kind of sitting there, and then 3 hours go by and you just like, I just wasted a day. Now you feel guilty because you just like, now you hard on yourself because you just, you know, and it kind of like, it's like a cycle. It's like a cycle, and it lasted really that whole summer. And then something else I was dealing with was, like I said, I was starting my brand. Okay. So
that's not easy.
Yeah, that as well. Like we trying to, you know, me and Gary and everybody, we trying to get it like going, and you know, it's not moving as fast as I thought it was gonna be. You know, so that's money to be made, but it's not being made yet. And then I wanted to get out of the whole like hair influencer bubble that I was in. I wanted to move more into like a lifestyle, beauty. I kind of want to talk about everything.
Yeah.
You know, so a part of that, and then starting my brand, that means I had to stop working with other hair care brands. So I stopped. That's where most of my money was coming from.
Okay.
So now I'm not making as much money because I'm not doing all these posts and whatever for these brands. So now I'm dealing with that too. So you got money, your brand taking a long time. You just graduated. You didn't go and get the job, like, you know, because you're trying to work in entrepreneurship. And it's just like a lot that piled up. So
I hear that.
Something like I did, I meditated.
Yeah.
Starting meditation helped me out a lot. Just kind of like, you know, allow me to collect my thoughts a little better. And then just one thing, start hanging out with my friends. So I went like, you know, isolate, talk a little bit more, you know. And one thing I did was I went to LA for like a week.
Okay.
And because I didn't know, I was like, do I really want to do the whole like social media content creation anymore? I don't know what it is. You know, I kind of had like, is this what I really want to do?
Doubting yourself
a little bit. So I went to LA. And when I went out to LA, met with some brands, I met some people, just got to talking. Yeah. And I think that change in environment is what kind of gave me that to go. And it's kind of like, I'm not going to say that depression just immediately went away, but I felt like immediately much better after I went. And it's kind of almost like I just had like a reminder of what it is that I'm doing and why I'm doing it. So that kind of helped me out a lot.
I believe that. I believe that like and it's not in every case, but I believe in like certain situations that like you got to get outside of your normal environment for you to grow. Yeah,
you just sitting at home all day just staring at a wall, you're not going to feel better. So even when you just step outside, go on a walk, I don't know, go to the grocery store or something, get around people, you feel a million times better than when you just sitting in the house like just talking to yourself. Not even really talking, you're just sitting there, you know?
Just sitting there. That's what's up. We're going to take a little quick ad real quick and we're going to come back. Shout out to Kent & Co. Wine Bar in Greater Southside, Fort Worth, Texas. They just had an event. And it was a Valentine's Day event for singles and dating. So if you're ever in Fort Worth, head down to Magnolia Street and check out Kent & Co. Back in the building with Beverly Coleman. She's here speaking about mental health, about hair, about lifestyle, meditation, depression, everything. What kind of questions you have for me? So,
I guess being like a black male, you know, how was it for you? You say you were depressed, correct? How was it? How was your experience with that?
Nobody would ever know I was depressed. If I never told nobody, nobody would ever know I was depressed. So like, I just felt bad about like hiding it because I was just going around like putting on this front, like acting like everything was cool. Like you can be social and nobody not gonna know because you always out, you all in the mix. And I was just like, I was searching for everything like in the world to make me feel better. Not to get like spiritual on y'all, but I was like really searching in the world for stuff that was gonna make me feel better. But nothing would give me that. So I was just like, man, like, dang, like you just gotta go, you gotta talk to somebody. Like you gotta talk to somebody about this stuff. And another thing was like my teammates at the time, like they were going through some stuff too. So just having like a group, a community to like go through it together, that made it like a lot easier. But if I did it, I just know that like a lot of other people go through it. And it ain't necessarily like people that's like struggling, it's people that's successful that's going through it that you don't know. And like you find out like when they like the tragic way, you find out like through like death or like just the worst way you find out. So like now I try to like, I don't want to say I just look for people that I feel like going through stuff, but if I get a hint or like if somebody like come toward me and I feel their energy, like I'm like, all right, like let's just talk about it. Whatever it is, it's like it could be a random person on the street and like they could be like that close to like ending it all. And if you just go say something to them, you could save their life. So like that's how my mind think. So yeah.
I'm the same way. That's kind of why I got into psychology. I have a lot of empathy, super non-judgmental. Like that's part of the reason why I wanted to go into counseling was to like help people in that way. But I found maybe that wasn't like my thing. You know, mine is like a different way, but definitely.
You don't want to be at like a desk and stuff like that. Like you want to be able to move.
I kind of wanted to just go about it my own way instead of, I guess, maybe a traditional way of helping people. So that's kind of like why I decided to switch.
Yeah, that's what's up.
So do you feel like you got like a lot of support once you did? Say because you know some people they just scared because they don't want to be judged.
So I got like, I call it like ghost support. So like I put stuff out, and like people will hit me in the DMs and they'll tell me like, yeah, man, like what you said, like it changed my life. I've been dealing with this same stuff, but like on the front street, like it wasn't really supportive. So I'm like, okay. But I'm like, just where I'm at in my life is like, I don't really necessarily like worry about that. Like the few people that I do impact, it's like cool. And if they like get that energy back to me, then like great. But if they don't, then like I'm not worried about it. Cause like I kind of know what I don't want to say I know what I want to do, but I like know what my purpose is. Like I know what my purpose was for my father dying was so that I could do this. I could be here and be like, yo, like you said, like the whole black community needs to like focus on their mental health. You know what I'm saying? Everybody want to be financially stable. Everybody want to have businesses and stuff. But like if you're not financially healthy, like all that shit is gonna go away. Like you're gonna lose it one way or another. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. We're going about 25 minutes. We got a few more minutes. Yeah, we don't have to be on all the serious stuff the whole time. I don't know. Like, you grew up in Dallas. Like, tell us about that. I'm from Fort Worth. So, like, before coming to SMU, like, I never really came to Dallas. I probably came to Dallas, like, once in my life.
Oh, really?
And, yeah, when I went to SMU, I was like, okay, like this is like Dallas is cool, you know what I'm saying? But like it's probably like different from people that like grew up in Dallas.
Oh yeah, I mean I love Dallas. I was born and raised here. I graduated from Duncanville High School.
Okay.
So you know that's why I decided like after I was going to school for 5 years.
Yeah.
So I sped through school like as fast as I could because I didn't want to be there all day. So I just moved back last summer. Okay. So I came back and I was like, you know, I was telling since earlier, like, I was thinking about, like, oh, I got to go to L.A. or something. Like, if I want to make it happen. Like, that's what all the successful people, that's what my mindset kind of was when I first started doing, like, the whole YouTube thing. Like, even, like, with my business, like, oh, everybody successful moves to L.A., right? Yeah. But then you go to L.A. and you see how expensive it is. And then it's just, like, I'm like, I can make things happen here at home. Like, with my people first and then kind of like expand out because I mean, you know, most of my supporters are from Dallas, you know, from Texas. So it's just kind of like, you know, why not make things start here, help my people here, and then eventually, you know, spread out and like go. Because even like on Instagram, I didn't know one of my largest followings was in New York, and I went to New York for a festival, and I take like 5 steps and say, hey, ain't you so and so? And I'm like, I didn't even know y'all knew me like that over here. Yeah, you know. So, oh my gosh, I watch your videos, you know, da-da-da-da, when you do this, da-da-da-da, like, it made me want to do this and da-da-da. So it's just kind of like it's already expanding out to people. But like I said, I'm like, you know what? You don't, like, hear a lot of people from Dallas. Like, I'm not going to say doing big things because people from Dallas do big things. But it's like, as far as, like, the whole, like, social media aspect of it, not many of the big like bloggers and stuff are necessarily from the Dallas area. So I was like, why not make it happen here? You know, there's plenty of people in LA. I'm not going to be different out there. I feel like I'm not going to be able to shine out there. So it's like, I'm going to do it here at home. Start off at home.
I feel that. What is like, so it's 2 questions. So like, what is one thing that you've always wanted to do? And then like, what is one thing that you afraid to do?
One thing, like just in general?
In general.
Okay, I don't know. I ain't never really been asked this. I guess like I know this sounds so stupid, but one of my first, I fear like big bodies of water. So I really want to go.
Can you swim?
I can swim.
Oh, you can swim.
But like I don't
swim.
I don't do past 5 feet because once my feet not close to the ground,
bottom,
I'm like panicking. So I'm like, I can't do the like whole like tread the water thing. I can't do that. So I want to go on a cruise so bad, but I'm extremely scared. No. So I'm just extremely scared because, you know, it's more of the unknown that's in the water. Like it might be a shark or I don't know, the Loch Ness monster up in there. So I don't know what's in that water. That's true. So I don't really, that's kind of.
Oh yeah, definitely in the ocean. I definitely understand that.
So that's like one of my biggest fears, but something that I always like wanted to do, of course, was start my own business, but like I want to have multiple. Yeah. So but I want to have multiple businesses, of course, but I'm already starting what it is I wanted to do was I always knew I was going to work for myself because type of person I was, you know, I had my jobs and, you know, I had a mouth on me. So I like to talk back a little bit, you know, the managers and stuff. And I was just like, I don't know if I can deal with people just telling me what to do all day, you know. So it's just kind of like, but I realized this when I was in like middle school.
Okay.
So I was like, I know I'm going to, so originally I thought, I'm going to have my own counseling practice.
Yeah.
That's going to be my business because I wanted to be a counselor. But, times change. I ain't realized I was going to be this, expert on like hair and all this other stuff, like gain all this knowledge on it. So it's just crazy how what originally I thought my business was going to be is actually not it. And it's something completely different because it's something I learned.
That's usually how it goes. Yeah. We got something in our mind that we want to do, but it always turned out. You probably feel like it's better that it turned out this way.
Yeah, exactly. Because if I would have went the other route, I really don't know what I would still be in school right now if that was the case. So it's just kind of like, went through school, doing my entrepreneurship, something that I didn't even go to school for, but it's okay though. So,
How you feel about men wearing wigs?
Men wearing wigs?
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want, bother me.
Really?
I don't care.
You don't care?
It ain't got nothing to do with me.
If your man wear a wig.
Oh, you talking about like the toupee thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because y'all been doing it for years. Y'all been doing it for years.
I mean, personally, like, I would like to know what you naturally look like. But, I mean, if that's what make you feel good, then, do what you want to do. Like I said, ain't really got much to do with me. So
That's what's up. That's funny. What time is it? 5? Oh, we got plenty of time. I'm like going blank up here, man. See, we covered basically like everything that I really wanted to talk about. But we can keep going. I honestly wanted to ask y'all to just step in, yo.
Yeah, no, we can cut it and jump in and I can hop in there if you
No, we can cut it like even like
cool.
yeah.
Where's another mic then?
You honestly, bro, like y'all gonna have to like share with Bev. Yeah, but it would take too long to like set it up. Yeah, I just hop on in there. Got Gary Lewis in the mix. Yeah. So like tell us how you guys met and how kind of this thing came to fruition.
You want to tell?
I mean, we went to high school together.
Y'all went to high school together, Duncanville?
You graduated what, like 2012? Yeah, I graduated 2014. I really don't even know how we originally even met in high school because it was that long ago. But like, you did sports, right?
I did sports. So I played football. She ran track, and you ran track in college too.
Yeah, I did run track in college.
Yeah.
So there's definitely probably
you ran
sports.
track.
I did in college.
Okay. What 100, 200?
100, 200. I was a sprinter.
Okay.
So we met in high school, and then when I was in grad school, Gary just reached out. He's just like reaching out to me more, just kind of talking. Then he was like, "Hey, I know this dude. I got a possible opportunity for you. I know some people, And so I was like, okay, at first I think he just, just talking or whatever.
Yeah.
I ain't really know.
Yeah,
and so then, once we all met up and, I kind of just told them my vision and things like that, rocking with it. And so ever since then, it's just like been working together like that.
That's what's up. So what's the future of Neo Curly right now?
Yo, man.
It's the start of 2020, so.
Yo, like, so the future of Neo Curly, I can't hear myself. I sound cool?
Yeah, she can hear you.
Yeah, I got you. Nah, the future of Neo Curly, man, we want to be like a brand that, like I said, our message is inclusion for women of all hair types. You know what I'm saying? And what we want to do basically is use that message and just go further with that message as far as like being in stores and things like that. Like we want to be in Ulta, we want to be in Target. Okay. We want to like just continue to push to be the best that we can be, because like we're young, she's young, I'm young, but that doesn't mean that our age should be like the social limitation of our capabilities. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like if we just take that mindset, because actually being young is an advantage in this game. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you can be youthful but still knowledgeable. You know what I mean? So like definitely we want to be like all of what we can be when it comes to this brand and everything like that. So you want to expand on that? You cool?
Well, of course what Gary said, but also just like the mission, like he said, is like the inclusion of all, black men and women somewhere where not only they can come to like, find a product that's for them, but where they just feel loved, period. So it's going to be community first with everything. So it's just all about the betterment of the black community. Because if we ain't going to help ourselves, then like who going to help us? So it's just kind of like, that's more of like the overall mission is to the betterment of the black community. And if that's in confidence, self-love, acceptance of like, a black person that look different than you and stuff like that, representation. Like that's
all
definitely
shades, all colors.
Like that, of course.
I got a question for Beverly. Okay, so how was it how is the transition of going from being like normal, quote unquote, to being famous? Like that has to be some type of kind of like PTSD in a way, because your life is going from this to this, from like an Instagram post. You're going from people like not knowing who you are to wanting to know everything about you. So
how that feel?
Like, how does that, I mean, not to put you on the spot, but I really want to know your mindset on how that feels.
So whenever I first, like, okay, so just kind of growing up, I feel like I was always kind of like just popular in school. Me and my siblings, there's 3 of us. And they call us the Coleman kids or whatever.
Colemans?
Yeah, the Colemans, whatever.
Right.
So like I felt like I was always like kind of popular. I had attention on me, but it took me a while to like. I used to be kind of shy growing up, and so then I kind of got to this. I don't really care no more about attention. Not that I'm actively seeking it, but it's just like I just got to this point where I was like, I just don't care about what other people think of me, really like that type of thing.
That's a good place to be.
Yeah, so it took like, and I can definitely thank my parents for that, because they the ones that like, put that in me, just like confidence and stuff like that.
Okay.
But just going from, just a regular, schmegular person on Instagram to like people coming up to you in the mall and like, hey, ain't you Auntie Bev? And I'm like, yeah, it is me. What's up?
Why Auntie Bev?
Because that's my nickname people gave. I do have a niece, but I was given that nickname in college before I even got a niece, because people was like, you remind me of like an auntie of a mom, because of how I guess like caring, and how I always was trying to help people. I was always trying to give advice. Yeah. So like people was like, you kind of got like a mama older vibe going on. So a lot of people, when I tell them I'm only 24, I thought you was like 27, 28. And I'm like, I'm not, but okay.
'Cause you're mentally
so I got that in, like, people started calling me that in college. Some people call me Mama Bev too. But
Mama
I was
Bev?
like, so I was like, Mama sound a little older than Auntie, so I'm gonna go with Auntie. Yeah. So I kind of got that nickname in college, and I was like, and people just tell me like, you just act like a 40-year-old auntie all the time. So I like things like cheetah print, like really big gold hoops and stuff like that. Yeah. So like auntie stuff. But just like the switch, at first I'm not gonna lie, it was weird, because I remember the first time somebody ever came up to me outside, because I started this when I was in college. So it started, I'm going to the bar, and people like, oh Bev, and I'm like, we go to school together. Like, why you acting like I'm, whatever. Yeah. And people like, Bev, we watch your videos, and I'm just like, we go to school together. But I'm not gonna lie, I got a lot of support. I went to for the people I went to college with, like a lot. So that like helped me start off like that support from the people I was in college with. And then I remember the first time like outside of college, I was at Parks Mall in Arlington, and these teenage girls was staring at me in the mall. So I'm like, what they looking at? Like they just staring. I'm not used to the attention. And one of them come up to me. They was like, I don't want to be weird, but aren't you like Bev on Instagram? Yeah. And I was like, yeah, y'all like my stuff? Or whatever. They're like, oh my gosh, you're so pretty. We watch your video and blah, blah, blah and stuff. So after that first experience, I was like, that was weird. I was
the first time it happened.
Yeah, the first time. And then it's like, the more, I was out in Dallas, Austin, whatever, Houston, people coming to me, ain't you so-and-so? And I'm like, yeah, that's me. Because, I got a following on Twitter as well. So that's a completely different audience on Twitter. So I got people that's recognizing me on Twitter and Instagram. And then, eventually I kind of get used to it. Now when I see people staring at me, I'm like, I know you want to come over here and say what's up. So I'm like, come on over. Like before they even stand there, like, hey, because they don't want to be like, I don't want to, disturb you or whatever like that. So now I'm just like, I see you. Come on over here. Like, come on, give me a hug or something. Yeah. And even then, like, I get to talking to people. They tell me, like, I watched your video and I started doing this technique and it helped me. Or, I watch your tutorials on this and that, blah, blah, blah. Or just me even going to school and getting my master's degree, like, that made me apply for grad school and stuff like that. So it's like I didn't realize, like, just me doing this type of stuff really had a positive effect on people. Yeah. But also what comes with, like, positive is the negativity, which is people wanting to know more about you than you're, comfortable to disclose.
Too much information.
Yeah, so it's just kind of like, they ain't like in your love life business or just in your personal life business. And you just like, is whatever, but you don't want to be like rude and be like, that's none of y'all business. So even though I am like active on social, I'm active on social media. I just don't like people in my business as well. So it's kind of like
that's a hard balance.
Yeah, it is, because it's kind of like I don't want to be like rude or whatever. At the same time, but I'm like, I have my own business and my own personal life. Like, even though social media is my job, it's not
It's not
if
you.
I have a completely different life outside of like social media that, you know, that people don't see. Yeah. So it's just kind of like it is hard to transition, or just like sometimes, because, you know, you get a little frustrated when people
separate the two.
They can't. People have a very hard time, and people think, oh, just because, you know, you got this following that you obligated to, you know, not get upset about certain stuff, and you don't have feelings and all this extraness that comes with social media. So it's just kind of like hard sometimes dealing with that. But I will say there's definitely more positive when it comes to dealing with people than negative, and that's why I continue to do it.
That's dope. All right, what you 24?
24.
Okay. When you was a girl, when you let's just think back to a moment where like something was like difficult for you. And like you didn't know if you was gonna be able to like overcome it. But now you're 24, you got your master's degree, you started your business. If you could go back and talk to your younger self, like what would you say to young Bev? I would
say, I would be like, okay, so something I used to struggle with, I didn't think I had a talent. I was like, oh, I'm smart and I play sports and that's it. Like, you know, so like I knew I was smart. I knew I was good at school. I knew I was athletic. You know, I used to play all kinds of sports, basketball, track, whatever it is. And then, you know, then I thought that's what I was good for, you know? So it's just kind of like, even going into college, you know, when I got to grad school and I stopped running track, that was part of my depression was, well, what do I do?
Your identity.
Like I've been an athlete since I was like 3 years old. What do I do? So it's just kind of like, so once I, you know, I kind of picked up the YouTube and then I got consistent and I got better at it and stuff like that. I was like, okay, this is a talent that I didn't realize I have. And then, like I said, my voice itself is a skill. And like talking to people,
being able to speak.
And being able to like speak and like speak in front of people is a skill and a talent in itself. But I didn't know this when I was younger. So I'm just like, oh, you know, I can't draw, I can't sing, you know, whatever and stuff like that. So I'm just like, I don't have a talent. So I feel like I would go back and tell myself, you do have a talent, you just don't know what it is yet. Or it's the talent that I didn't realize. Like I said, two of my biggest insecurities growing up was my nose, because I didn't like my nose. I felt like it was big and it was round, and people used to tell me that. And then my voice, I got a deeper voice as a girl. So, you know, you sound like a man, you sound like a boy. And I'm like, now I don't want to talk because it is what you and I joke about that now, like sounding like a man or whatever. But it's like, that kind of kept me shy because I didn't want to bring attention to myself to where I do have to talk, because now they're going to hear my deep voice. But like, I mean, I thought it was normal. My mom and my sister both got deeper voices. So I'm like, y'all voice ain't deep too. So, you know, I'm just like, you know, so when you go to school and these kids are telling you sound like a boy, you just like, I don't want to talk until kind of got into middle school, got into high school, start caring less. You start speaking up more, you start talking more. And eventually I found my voice. So something that started off as my insecurity became my biggest skill. And my biggest talent, you know? So I think that's what I would just tell my younger self is just, you know, just talk. You got something to say, you know, you just talk. But, you know, I just didn't think I had a skill, but now I realize I definitely do.
That's dope, man. Like, other people's perception, like, of you is like none of your business. Like,
exactly. And that's
why
what I tell people.
Why should we care what other people think?
And that's what my mindset became. Like, how you feel and how you feel about me, what you think about me, that got nothing to do with me. That's all you. I'm still going to do me at the end of the day. So, you know, that's just kind of the mindset I had to come into. It's just my opinion comes first before anybody else's on myself.
Straight up. Y'all take us out of here with telling us about Neo Curly, man.
Oh, okay. I mean, you know, Neo Curly, like I said, it's an all-natural hair care line. The mission is to fight against texturism, colorism in the black community, just bring black people together. Okay. Like I said, it's all about community. Yep. And all of our ingredients and products is meant for all naturals. Like I said, it's based off of more of like a hair science versus just doing whatever, you know. So it's kind of like it's designed to work for as many possible hair types as it can, you know. So, of course, we're going to build on that, build more products as time goes on. But at the end of the day, like I said, the betterment of the black community, building this self-confidence and self-love within black people.
Straight up. And where can we find you at?
On Instagram, we are at Neo Curly Products, and we have our website, which is just www.neocurly.com. Right. And on Twitter, we are at neocurly.product. We don't have the S at the end of that one.
Got it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my Instagram, it's Curly Bevy, at Curly Bevy. So
Curly Bevy.
That's me.
Yes, sir. Last words, G?
I just want to say I definitely appreciate you having us. You know what I'm saying? Like we definitely love like the platform and the collaborations to like sit up here and talk like, you know, positive dialogue about like what we've been through, what we're going through, mental health, things of that nature. Just love for basketball, love for being an influencer, love for like business and wanting to just better yourself in general. I think those things really matter. Just like it's like Jay Sharp, man.
Yeah, he said he gonna come. He said he gonna come, man.
Because we need them gems. But yeah, just discovering really matters to you, and everything that happens in this world is happening to you, happening for you, not to you. You're not supposed to be a victim, you're a victor. So like, yeah, definitely like we have to come into agreement with ourselves and say, hey, no matter what I'm going through, I'm gonna see the positive in everything, and I'm gonna be my best self. So thank you for allowing us to share this platform. Thank you for even introducing us to this platform. Like, this is my second podcast interview, but it's her first. So you know what I'm saying? Like, definitely for introducing us, bro. We appreciate that for real. Catch you on the rebound. Catch you on the rebound for sure. We appreciate that. We're gonna give you love on Instagram too, man.
Appreciate it, man. We out, man.